Me and Coach Shire have talked about that exact moment. He told me it's probably best to take a couple steps to the right so it ricochets. And in practicing it, I felt like it comes out to the same spot every time. So, I mean, just preparation. I feel like God just watching over it.
I agree with the God part.
But Eric, so here's you say, and when we get into tournament time, I feel like you text us this all the time, where you're like, teams really need to practice their like 3/4 court or half court shots. You can actually like win games when it comes tournament time. And so here you have like the most improbable, like why would you ever practice doing this sort of like scenario, right? And it comes actually into play here.
To be able to know reasonably where that ball is going to go is unbelievable unless you practice it and like give yourself the best possible chance. So I actually think it's a great tip that he kind of alluded to that I had never thought about, because I would think you just be in your normal position and just kind of like, try to aim it a little bit. But he was actually just like step to the right. So you give yourself literally that best chance to kick it to one side.
Yeah. So Fran, you were going to say, but let's actually look at the play as I pull it up. Go ahead.
No, I think this is actually, so playing basketball and having played basketball, this is something that you just kind of as a basketball player will like mess around and figure out on your own. I always remember in like high school and stuff, we'd always have these scenarios and be like, yeah, how do you like get it back to the rim? And what he actually does here, it's like I'm sure that Duke does practice it, but also at the same time, like look where he actually does step. He does step to the right. And then at the same time, like these are just things like you do as a basketball player. Like you mess around when you're on the court. You're like, let me see if I can just throw it off. So he's clearly done it before and he's practiced it. So it's gone through his head and it's pretty much exactly spot on. You're literally supposed to throw it to the front of the rim. Like that's exactly what you're supposed to do. And it should come pretty much right back towards you. And it does do that exact same motion. It's genius. But it's just actually executed, which you typically don't ever see.
Here's the really interesting part of this. So this is his normal free throw, okay? And we have the ability to draw, so we're gonna do it. So this is his normal free throw is here. That's where his right foot is on the normal free throw, right? This is the free throw in the overtime. So that's quote unquote the normal free throw. This actually it might not line up for us perfectly. Actually, it does.
Oh, you can see it. Yeah. Because his left foot is now aligned with that. You can see it, the A and the ACC logo. He's a full like several inches over.
Yeah. So there's the left foot with the A, and then that's the normal one.
And
so he's like definitely moving.
Yeah, and to think about it, just as Eric was kind of saying, it's two circular like points that you're trying to get into the basketball hoop. If you're moving your shot to the right, shooting it somewhat kind of normal, it's going to come off the front part of the rim. Because if you're swishing it every time, if you move to the right, it's going to hit the rim and come off. And that's exactly what he's doing here. I never thought about moving your feet. It's just a really genius idea.
Coach Shire, of all people, the free throw shooting guru.
The other thing that I want to point out is that on that free throw, the second one, there's only one Duke player rebounding for it.
Moore comes there. Then, you know why they did it?
It's because they do it for the backcourt so you can get the tip back.
Because what happens is when you do that, right? So automatically the two UNC guys, they're going to be like, because a lot of times when you're in the free throw lane, right? Like you always like pick like the guys will be like, oh yeah, like one of the sets there's 4 UNC players. One of those sets, they always talk, and one of those top guys has to pick who's going to like box out the shooter, right? And usually it's kind of like a judgment of like which pair needs to like pinch one of the offensive players, or like which solo UNC defender can just like box out his own man. So by taking the man out, the Duke player out, it basically guarantees that the top UNC guy is going to be the one that's going to launch himself to try to like box out Tre Jones, but at like the free throw section, which is exactly what happens. And
so you're saying play tech, you want this move?
Yeah, right. So like normally they would probably look at this situation and like, 30, the bottom guys, like UNC players they're both going to box out, but the two top guys like play tech and the other guy, they're going to talk and be like, one of them's going to get the shooter. One of them's just going to help pinch the other guy. Right. But by taking McConnell out, they're basically guaranteeing that play tech comes across the lane and therefore opens up that space. And if you're practicing knowing the ball's going to reasonably come to that area of the court, it like just leaves it open for you to get the rebound. And then O'Connell's just ready to launch to that spot.
And the other thing there too is that it's just a numbers game. By taking that one player out, you now have 4 UNC players in the paint, and only one of them, Cole Anthony, ends up running in the second overtime. So then you have 5 UNC players in basically the paint, and then you have 3 Duke players outside for the long rebound that can actually run to the basketball and get it. And once they do, they're still set up in the backcourt to be able to go forward and execute the play. I think I never thought about it this way, but maybe it was on purpose. I hope it was, because it's absolutely genius.
I think everything about yesterday was on purpose. I don't think there's like any moment of that's by accident.
Yeah, but it's also you have your highest jumper there, right? So all he has to do is just jump and tip it. And that's like, as a basketball player, that's a huge difference. It's a really big difference when you yourself are just going for the tip and somebody else is going for the rebound. All you have to do is just get there and hit it backwards. That guy's trying to get 2 hands. It's harder to do that, and it takes more time.
I mean, it's like Wendell Moore on this play. Not only does he get the tip, to your point, he's got the tip, but then he also ends up winning the thing. So he's like, look at it. Like he's wide. He's like over here, and all the UNC players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and see, this comes down to, this is like this shows you that, I mean, even like Alex O'Connell is kind of, he's getting in kind of that position. Like Wendell Moore actually, if he had like cut, like it's happened so bang fast, but like, there's a lane for him to even cut for like a pass or something. Yeah. But I mean, I know I think it closes a little bit, but UNC is just like, oh crap, Tre Jones has the ball. He just made this shot. Like they're swarmed. Like all 5 of them are trying to guard just him.
I mean, O'Connell's wide open. I didn't think about this. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy. It still just blows my mind. In those unis too, those unis are so cool.